What's up, Freddie?
What's up, Shady?
We have two guests here today. One uninvited, the construction noise from outside.
Exactly. We have a friend that came here to do an amazing construction outside. And then we have another friend that come from very far, from the moon, Zarina. She's a photographer and a fashion entrepreneur. She is our monthly guest in our Creative Corner. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
No, it's our pleasure.
I'm sorry there is this overlap with our friend from the construction guy, but hopefully for those of you who are listening, there's no brown noise in the background.
Yeah, at least I feel I'm not alone here.
Exactly.
Not friends.
Zarina, as we were saying, you're doing a lot of things here in China, but you started your own fashion brand.
Yes.
We met many times before. You were recently also a guest here in Nantou for the Pechacucha. And maybe we start about telling about your beautiful project that for those of you who can come over to Nantou will be able to see in our Creative Corner until next month.
Yeah, sure. So I'm very glad to you guys that you gave us this chance actually to represent our clothings here. And we set the corner here in Creative Corner, and you like people who would like to see, touch the clothes, they can come. And so this is the only chance now to see the clothes like in real life, because nowadays everything is digital and stores and like people don't really know how the clothes made or how it feels if you didn't purchase it and you didn't like get it. But here there is a chance to come to try to see.
That's nice. And how did it all started here, putting together this fashion project?
Okay, let me start from the very, very beginning. Like I live in China for almost like 11 years.
Right.
And China became my home. And I was doing like a lot of things here. And myself, like I love fashion, I love clothes, and this was my like a passion since my childhood. But I never thought that one day actually I would be involved to this industry and I would like dedicate myself. But the things came by itself to my life because I'm a collector. I love to collect clothes. And this thing actually came to me from my grandmother, because my grandmother loved traveling a lot when she was young, and like in her entire life she would like to travel around the world, and she would like to bring some pieces from different part of the world.
Okay.
And then as a child, it was always for me interesting if I would open her wardrobe. It was full of like a different kind of clothes
From everywhere in the world.
everywhere, and that was something. And you know, as a child, you kind of like, it's like treasure box. And my grandma also was a good like a storyteller. And every single clothes which she would take out from wardrobe, it's like a story behind, and she would tell me like from where it is, and usually it's something like handmade. She would buy it from like directly from the person who actually made it. And and I was kind of like, for me it was something really amazing, so that's why coming here to China I realized
Sorry to interrupt. Did your grandma also make her own clothes too, or
the thing is like,
or just like a collector?
I came like from very interesting family, because the grandma I'm talking about, this is my father's mom.
All right.
And from my mother's side, like her family, her like a father, my grandfather, he is actually he's a professor in like techniques, and he's like a math genius. But at the same time, because he himself like he came from the little village where people were like raised as a farmers, but my grandfather kind of like didn't see his future as a farmer. He wanted to be educated and he wanted to be like something.
Where are you from? I'm not sure.
Yes, I think like everyone questioning is like here.
The moon?
The moon. Yeah, so I'm from the very small country in Central Asia, Tajikistan, and I think like I'm the only representative from that country because everyone is just like, huh? Where is it? And I was just like, yeah, I think it's a really kind of sad thing to my country that people don't really spread around and tell about the country. Okay, come back to the grandpa. So, and but after he left his family by the decision that he wants to be that he wants to get the education, his parents kind of said like, okay, so that's now you're leaving this house and you want get back here, so you're gonna survive, you're gonna do yourself what you want, and no financial support from us. So, and my father, my grandfather, so he got married, he had children, but the lack of money in the family kind of like pushed him to make clothes for his children himself.
Okay.
So, and that's what I'm saying, like if you would see my grandfather, it's just like, oh, you can make clothes. Yeah. And then all my aunties and uncles, they are able to make clothes themselves also.
Oh, okay.
Even like my mom, she's a doctor, my aunt, she's an engineer, and like they have all kind of like good jobs, but still they are able to produce clothes. And my grandmother from my father's side, this is all you see, like all people in my family, they have some connection to clothes.
To clothes and the
Yes,
fashion.
yeah.
Wow.
So, and that's why when I came to China, I found out here, like the amount of clothes are huge, but then and you go here like a Taobao, right? So you can't find cool things. I don't say like a Taobao full of like trashy things. No, like you can find.
They're just like cheap, mass-produced.
But they're like a
clothes.
cheap, and it's like 100% copy of the other things.
Right.
And then yes, I can buy it. Yes, I would look cool, but and because for me, as I said, for me it's more important to know the story behind all the clothes, because
Right.
nowadays the clothes itself, it's nothing. It's just like it's something. It's just piece of cloth. The idea. So I think the most important thing, this is the idea. For example, if some person produce a hat, right? So, and it means like he put his heart there inside, and this, and I know that there are no hundreds of pieces of this hat, maybe 5, let's say 10, right? And so, and I have one of this hat in my wardrobe. It makes me, and whenever I wear that, it's kind of like giving you feelings, some feelings, right?
Yes, true.
So,
Also, it is an added value. I mean, whether you
yes,
know
it is.
it's a brand or a craft. Still, I agree with you that what makes the difference is the story or the concept behind, because otherwise it's something that everybody can access in an easy way without knowing what there is behind.
That's true. So that's why I think like people should be more. And now because we live in this, the life is like it goes so fast, and people always like eat, have, and we don't have time to actually sit down and think like what's going on. It's not about even just clothes. It's about our life. We are kind of like consumers. We want always use, take, and suck everything what we can from the earth without actually thinking what we're giving back. Yeah. So. That's why I came up with the idea. As also, I'm saying like I know that as just a person, I cannot save the planet. It's just like it's kind of like utopia. It's almost impossible. But I'm the person who likes to try. Even I know probably I won't succeed, but at least I will try, and that feeling that I tried gives me kind of like.
I think that. First of all, despite what is the final product, in your case clothes, but whatever, but as I always say, the most important and sustainable things that we can do as designers, as creator, is to make things last. Because when you give a value to that thing, that piece of clothes, I will not wear it, 20 times in a month and then throw it away after 3 months, but because there's a value, I will have more conscience in using it, and probably it's gonna last long because I'm gonna keep it for some years. Even myself, I still have some t-shirts that I'm very affectionate about that I don't use too often, but I have them since maybe 10-15 years because there is someone special gave it to me, or
You have a good memory behind
it's
that
a good
shirt.
memory. And and even sometimes if they cannot fit them too much, I still have it in my wardrobe, you know.
It's like one day gonna come back to you.
Like a collection, maybe one day my niece, my sons, whatever. But yeah, when there is a value, you make things last, and there is a you are able to influence the behavior of people, whether it's self-conscious decision or not. But when you give them something with value, they will not trash it
That's true.
as fast
Absolutely.
as.
And the idea also, I think, like how it was before, that all the clothes were made by tailor just for you, and then, as you know, like in the movies, when a mother passed her wedding dress to her daughter,
Right.
and then how it goes from generation to generation, right?
Right.
And I think this is something beautiful. So to have this piece from the past, but as I said, nowadays, no, because most of their brands, clothing brands, they produce by seasons, and then they say like even
Yeah.
this big brands as Zara, mass market brands, they say this a lot by saying like if you ask them why the quality is so bad, like they would say like you just wear this one season and that's it. The purpose of this piece just to wear one season.
And that's a bit
Yeah,
of the
it's
problem
terrible.
of the industry, because I understand that from the business point of view, you cannot keep on selling the same thing over and over. It's not like furniture.
Yes, that's true.
At the same time, because of this, then you trigger people to want to be up to fashion and updated every so often, and then you will always be pushed to buy new things and throw away old ones. But at least being conscious about that problem will again hopefully make people try to, rather than trash it, recycle it, donate it. I think that the industry has a problem that is not going to be easily solved, but before changing the people, I think that the business behind like you're doing, or even like other bigger brands are doing, is what will affect the market. I don't remember who it was. It was a very big brand that was giving back discounts or coupons for receiving back their, I don't know, jeans or of any kind, because they would have done the
Levi's
next.
or-
H&M.
I
H&M.
think it was H&M.
Yeah,
Okay.
they still do, and even like it's not all it should be only their clothes, any clothes.
Yeah, any clothes, because
They
then
donate them
would
to other people or
No, they
recycle them to
yeah.
fabric.
recycle and reuse it. Yeah.
So what is the concept behind your brand and how you make your clothes? Like,
So we applied so many concepts into this brand that's like one day I was like, oh, there's so many meanings. So the first, if we talk about the design, and
let's talk about the name first.
yes, so and also I would like to say that I'm not the only founder of this brand. From the very beginning, I was the only person who started this business, and the name, yes, it has my name. It's always people ask me like, oh, you're the designer, or just like the only person who makes clothes. No. So when we were creating the name, because we wanted, as the DNA of our brand, we wanted to apply different personalities and create a person.
Okay.
Create one person who would have like a different piece of everyone.
Okay.
So and also we had a person. He was like helping us to set up the brand's name. He was like leading us to the way to make it right. So because we were searching for the girl's name, like which would fit there. So and we like went through many names, and then he was like, what about your name? I didn't really feel comfortable that the brand would have like my name, but because he said like it has Z, and Z sounds like it sounds good, and then we can like also create another surname, so which will like together will sound good.
Match. Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I don't know, but then the rest of the team, they were like, yeah, let's do that. It sounds good. So and then we just like went through this by selecting like my name as a brand's name, and also this Neelson. It's a kind of surname, but it's not the real surname.
Okay.
It's just like made up surname. And we also created this kind of girl, which actually is Zarina Neelson.
Is the character impersonating the brand,
yes, it's
right?
a character which has this, and also we created before like we start to actually run the brand. We created like her life, like we wrote everything about her everyday routine, like described her house, like what does she do, like what kind of friends she has, like even like what food she eats, because for us it was very important to see this character, because in the future it's like you target some people, right? So they have to be kind of similar mindset to the character we created. So yeah, this is
It's a beautiful idea to try to, let's say, frame the targets and the potential behavior that you would like people to have.
Well, I
when
just
they
had
buy
like
your clothes.
the idea of like if you ever did like a catalog or something of your products or your clothes, you could have like, almost like her diary.
Yeah.
You know, like written in her voice and her perspective. Like on June 27th, I went to the whatever, right? You know, like a coffee shop, and then have like a picture of her favorite necklace and the dress that you guys have, right? And it's kind of like this cool, like instead of just being like a product catalog of bullshit, but it gives people insight into, you know, the person that you've made.
Sounds great. You should sell us this idea, but it's too late.
But also because, you know, psychologically, I think that when you can relate a person and a name, even if it's a fictional one, like in this case, like in many other cases, it gives you more the feeling of being close to someone rather than be close to something.
Yeah.
It's not like the brand, but a person, so it feels more down to the scale that you want to work with rather than to the mass production
That's right.
Of things.
Yeah. That's why because we didn't want to make some abstract name, because like you are saying exactly what we were thinking, like by giving like a person, and because we are many people behind, right? So that's why we wanted to create this like personality by giving a name, a real name and surname, still giving the people there is a human behind. So.
And do you also create physically how she looks?
Yeah, we kind of like one of my one of the founder also she actually created how she looks, and we posted out, and we have our platform. So we kind of like wrote a little article, and also we posted a couple of pictures, like is she wearing the clothes, like we have this kimono set, so she was wearing that kimono set and the tank top, and so yeah, like you can see.
You know what, one thing that comes to my mind, I discovered it already last year. There is a website that they use artificial intelligence to create people, and every time you refresh the page, there is a different face that looks incredibly real, but that person doesn't exist. It's generated by the artificial intelligence. But what you can do is sending pictures of different people, and he combined the features into a real photo of a human that is made by the artificial intelligence, combining the faces and the features of the photos that you give. I even remember that I think it was an architecture studio that in their website they posted a photo of I don't know how they addressed it, but they say this is the partners, and they were writing like 3-4 names, but it was only one photo that is the results. But you could never tell that is fake. I mean, you look at it, you think someone took a photo of that person. It's really crazy.
But it's creepy, huh?
It's creepy.
Like really.
It's creepy because I mean, when you see that, it really makes you wonder and think where this can go.
Well, there's one like a influencer, social media influencer, that's not a real person, but she's a 3D girl.
Yeah.
But it looks like like photorealistic and stuff like that, and she has like millions of followers and shit.
Yeah, even she has followers. I don't have million followers. She got them.
You know?
And I think they are the one you're talking about. They are also using her as an anchor for some.
Yeah, it could be
for
right?
some things, for some news. But yeah, I mean the technology in this sense is quite crazy, quite scary.
Yeah, it's amazing. So let's go back to the clothes.
Yes.
So that's how you got the you came up with the name.
Yes. And then the design.
Yes.
Yes.
And also your let's say manufacturing creation process.
Okay, so the thing was we wanted to make a limited number of each model. That was for us important. And I started to search for the places, factories, and I visited like a bunch of factories, and this is like mass production. So at least what they always require, like one model, 100 pieces, one side, 100 pieces. And I was like, no. First of all, because it was startup and we couldn't afford this.
Right.
That was the first thing. That's why we didn't even consider that. The second thing, we didn't want to produce 100 pieces. So that's why it was for us important to find the place where we can produce the number which we want and also have good quality. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. It was difficult because also and what was the most for me interesting and funny thing, most of the factories, when I was like asking them because you give the sketch, right? So and then they need to transfer the sketch into the patterns and then the question was like, can you make it? And they're like, I think it's better to you just buy some clothes which you like from Amazon or whatever place, bring us that clothes. We just make it like we just like they're gonna
copy
like
it.
Yes, open up the clothes, just copy it and make it. And for me, that was something ridiculous. I don't say like every factory said to me this thing, but I remember that one factory they told me this, and I was like, wow, no, thank you, bye bye. So
That's nuts.
and yes, we were searching. Then we were searching for some small workshop which could do this stuff, but then we faced like that people not quite qualified there, like
Right.
because we were also trying to reach this point of quality which we had. And luckily, because one of my partner, her name is Irina, and she lives in Guangzhou, and she is actually in that industry, so she knows like many people, and so she started to ask around, and eventually we found a person, a man, an amazing person. He is Chinese, but he used to work in Europe for many years as a tailor, so he knows the standard,
Wow,
European
okay.
standard, how to make. And the language, I mean, like this technical language, it was same, because before people didn't really understand us, like what we want and the technical point, right? So, but he was kind of like very good at this, and he was like, oh, I know, like you all like people from that part of the world, expectations so high, yeah, I can make it.
Right. That's amazing.
So yes, and this is how he got into our boat, let's say. And yeah, and every single clothes, as I say, it's handmade. We sew it ourselves. We make this clothes by like only one size 3 number. So
Okay.
that's the thing. And also before the fabrics also was important for us, the fabrics which we use, because we didn't want to use just kind of cheap fabric to make good thing, because it wouldn't like it worse. So that's why we went through like a quite expensive fabrics, which usually brands don't use. For example, let's say silk. And also I did like a big research about this, how the brands use fabrics. Most of the brands, if they want to use silk, they don't use 100% silk because it's quite expensive. They use the mixture, like they
Right.
do like a 60% of silk and 40% of something, but it means like the eventual price of the clothes would be cheaper. But then we wanted to go big. We just like, if we play this game, we want to use like a good fabric.
So you used 100% silk?
Yes, we use 100% silk. And also all the fabrics which we use, we tested before we actually sew the clothes.
Okay.
Another thing, we wanted to test the fabrics before, because like people also
Like
Some
how
people-
would you test it? Like wear it or make something and see how it feels?
No.
or-
It's like the factories. They also have like a laboratory things, and we found a place where they had this kind of option to test the fabrics.
Oh, okay.
So they wash them in like a special liquids, and also it's about the colors and because some people's skin they're allergics, right?
Okay.
So that's why we wanted to use before we will make the clothes. We wanted to test the
Right.
fabrics and then make the actual clothes. So that's why all the fabrics which we use, we are very sure about them. And also we use like we have tencel. We use tencel to make clothes and
Okay.
so, like as I said, silk. So, but the thing is like all of these things affects the price.
Yeah, of course.
So and the thing is, and the price is quite high. And the people don't like they're not ready for these prices. And they don't understand like to make this piece of clothes, it actually costs a lot, and they think like why I should buy this? I will buy similar thing cheaper.
So, for example, like the shirt that you have hanging in the space, like how much would you guys like retail that for or sell that for?
It's around 600.
600?
Yes.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after I explain you now, you know, and now you say.
Yeah, but I can imagine also one thing is that
No, but when you think about like handcrafted things, right? Like 600 is almost nothing.
But
you
people
know? Like,
don't understand. It's just like a really small number of people can be appreciated for this. And here, I'm thinking in China, maybe in not in China, it would be very different game. But here in China, different mindset, very
but also,
different mindset.
but also too, like when you go to what, like Louis Vuitton or Gucci, you're spending 20,000 for a
but
shirt.
you're paying the brand there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but of
this
course,
is
but
like-
like, so I'm not saying like not everyone is scared of this kind of price point. You know, like 600, I think is a very reasonable. I was actually expecting you to say more. I was like, I thought you were gonna say like over 1,000 or something like that. But 600 is.
But kimono, let me say, like this kimono set, it's like a silk, as I said, 100% silk. So the price, like the whole set, 3,000.
Mhm.
And it sounds scary here. If someone's like, yeah, how much? Like 3,000. Okay, bye. So that's why this understanding, like, and we consider it as an investment. You invest, as I said, like you can pass
Exactly.
it. Actually, this silk kimono can be given to your, I don't know, children, grandchildren, or like
Yeah.
something else.
I'm sure also that it depends also what is the, let's say, mindset related to the environment where you buy it. Like in the sense that if I'm just scrolling through and I see a post where I just see your clothes without understanding the whole story, I'm in an environment where, because I'm seeing it online, I'm relating myself to what is the average of the online cost, and without understanding all the things behind it. But if you would be able, like you said, for example, touching it, having the experience of knowing the whole thing, then your perception is totally different because you know what you are buying. I guess the challenge is how to try to express that in the fastest and most direct way as possible for someone that doesn't know the whole thing already. That I think is the challenge, because when you understand that, I don't think that price is an issue. Like when you know the thing,
story
like
behind,
when I turned 30, I bought myself the most expensive pair of glasses I ever had. I spent 850 euros for a pair of glasses that are made out of one piece of wood by hand by a guy in Italy that he sells through shops and stuff. But when you would see the price tag, I would never think of spending that amount of money, not even for a piece of clothes or whatever. But man, it was beautiful. I know that because it's made of wood, that pattern, that stuff, it's only me that can have it, even though there is same shapes. It's like a collector items, and then you see the value of the thing. Of course, probably you would not buy every week or every month that piece of special clothes and that piece of special glasses, but that's also the point of it. when you're willing to spend that money for quality stuff, you are gonna be more conscious and cool in what you wear, and not just wearing simple cheap things that you throw away, and then every now and then the special stuff. So it's not for everyone, that's true, but that's also the very good thing about it. Otherwise I wouldn't buy it.
So you see, it's all about, if you want to feel special, you will go. If you kind of like don't, because for some people, like let's say like Mark Zuckerberg, he says like, I don't really care about the clothes, right? So and he doesn't invest into the clothes because for him it's not important. And so he has like this 100 pieces of shirts and like similar pants, and that's it. It's all about like whose cup of tea is this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Also because, I mean, if the very same kimono, you would be able to take down the price. Because you make, instead of 5, you make 100 and it costs half. I would not like to be in the same room by chance with a person that is wearing that very same thing that has this beautiful story behind. So, I think is price in this case it is not an issue, because it also filters that situation.
When did the brand start? Like officially kind of like launch?
Like we launched the brand this year, February. But all of this started like, that was something like because I was working full time, studying in the university, and then I was kind of like and I live here already in Shenzhen at that time 4 years, and I kind of like woke up by the feeling like I think I don't really understand how I live here for 4 years. It's like it just was like, huh? And then I felt like I don't really live my life, because I'm inside of this routine, like as a rat running inside of the well, just pleasing other people's dreams and desires. So that's like I quit my job. So I finished with the university, and I was like, okay, so what am I gonna do? And then I was like, because I had this idea for many years, and then I was like, I think I'm gonna do this stuff. And this all I started to kind of like talk with the agencies about like open up the company and all of this paper stuff. Just January, it was started in January, and then when we actually open up the company, everything was ready to start the business, the COVID started.
Right.
And then I was like, and all the factories were closed, like people
Yeah,
didn't
of
work
course.
for 6 months. Myself was like, I quit my job. I was like, was going to start my new kind of like a future life. And then I was like, okay, so what's going on? And then there was a time to actually, I was thinking to go back home, because I didn't know what will happen here, and I already like invested a bunch of money into this, but the factories didn't work, people didn't work, so yeah. And then after actually I put myself together, because I was like, okay, I already invested myself into this stuff, it's like I cannot give up. And then I started to search for other people who would like to join the team. So after I like other people joined this team, we started to look, as I previously said, about the like people who can help us to make this. So, and also it took us time to make the clothes, and so it means like by this year February we were like ready to launch the brand.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that probably on one side, if you look back, the fact that COVID hit and all this situation happened is probably also what allowed you to have the time and the focus to care, to to be put on that thing. It's like I think it's almost like what happened with us when we had this long time project. Oh, let's do some video, let's do some podcast. Then thanks to COVID, we had the time to put it together and to dedicate time, because you lose that routine that takes away a lot of your time during the day. So I think that if you look backwards, probably is a good thing. It happened in the right moment.
I would say like yes, I totally agree. Why? Because as I said, like at the time when I quit my job, because I was so exhausted emotionally, I was so down, and I'm quite creative person. Like my brain always works. Like it always creates the ideas, and this is like even I'm sleeping, my dreams is all about ideas. But then I was so exhausted that my brain didn't work at all. I was like, just look, I could stare at the wall like for hours by trying to like even like it was off. That's it. And then I was like thinking to actually I was planning to go to India, lock myself in some
go to some ashram
temple.
Yes, ashram, just like stay there. I don't know for a year or 2 years, just like bring myself to who I am. And then this COVID, it's like don't go to India, just like stuck in your home and do nothing. At the beginning, it was difficult.
Of course.
Because like when you are part of this society where your schedule managed by some institutions, right? As I said, you pleasing other people's dreams. But here you are on your own, and it was difficult to me even schedule my day because like I don't need to wake up like in the morning. I can sleep. So, but then it also took me time to like just build up my schedule and to understand like what I want, to also refresh the head. And I totally agree with you guys that you said you at the time when it was COVID you started to do the things. Exactly the same thing started like it happened with me. And so like, and also there is a good thing like because I consider this period of time as like a turbulence. What happens in the plane, right? So the plane goes straight, and then it starts to
shaking.
shake.
The whole world shook.
People scream. People think they're gonna die or whatever. Like some people just started to meditate at this time, right? So, and
do some real self-reflecting.
Yes, right. And this is also about like it's about also business, because I read so many books about like people who start run the business, and what they say, it's always there is time where the turbulence happens. If you kind of like strong enough, you will survive. You will use this turbulence time to actually to like help you to grow. Or if you are not that strong, so it will break you into the pieces, and that's it over. So this is how I see this whole like period of time.
Yeah, it's true. And from a practical point of view, like back to the brand thing, I assume that you are not necessarily or on purpose following the fashion rhythm and seasons, I guess, right? Or you try to,
like
or you don't care about
like a trends.
No, like the seasons.
Like
you want to make sure
spring season.
Because if things are made by hand, it takes its time. So maybe
Yeah, by the time we can like it's summer, but we're already kind of like past summer. Yeah, also we learn from our mistakes, right? And we also what I want to say here, what I learned. First of all, I'm really kind of happy that I didn't kind of like stop by starting this. Why? Most of the people say like you pay and you go to and study the business in the business school how to run the business, or you are crazy enough to run the business with zero knowledge. So that's me. So when I started this, I didn't really know like how the things should be, and in the process I learned a lot in the process by actually losing things and also falling down, getting up. We produce like we produce a collection, like we have 14 items, right?
So when you launched the brand, there was 14 items ready?
Yes. And the clothes were like some clothes were related to summer, some clothes were related like you could like wear it during the autumn or like a spring. We don't have.
And you launched in February?
Yes.
This year?
Yes, because we also live in Shenzhen, and the
no
weather.
winter.
Right.
Yes, and the weather is here quite kind of like we have 2 seasons here, right?
Not
so, kind of.
Kind of, yes, kind of.
Yes, and so that's why. So we produce these 14 items, but now, if right now I would have this time to make a decision. Would I like to produce 14 items by the producing collection? No. So,
okay.
And come back to your question, because now we kind of like we want to change a bit. We don't want to produce collections. We want to produce like a model, one item, and it could be like according to current season, but it's gonna be only one model of this, not like
I understand.
like many models of this.
Yeah.
So
Because I think it can be a good link also to, let's say, how you promote that, because every single piece being crafted, also in terms of how you show that and communicate that, you have both the process of making that piece, and then when it comes out as a single piece without being part of a collection, it makes it more special. So again, there is a story that you can tell about the specific item and not about the specific collection. I understand that when you start, you don't want to start with one piece.
that's also true.
Because,
Yes, it's just like what you're gonna do with one piece.
So you need to put them together, and also in the way, I guess, that you display things, that you to put them together to show that they can match, whether it's taking photos or wearing those things. But I think that there is the let's say if we look at it from the normal point of view of the fashion business, might be a weakness or a problem, some things in the smaller scale, but if you that thing can be turned easily in what is the special and unique thing that the big fashion brand and the market cannot create. Because imagine if H&M wants to tell a story about every of the 300 single fucking pieces they make every 2 months. It's not possible, right? So then you can turn around that thing, and can be very good.
Yeah, also for us, it gave us, we kind of knew at the time when we produced this like a collection, because we wanted to know like what people want. We have different variation of clothes and like style and design, and now we know like what people want. If we would, as you're also right by saying like if we at the beginning we would produce only one piece, it just kind of like really you it's not something to start with, and now, and it give us like a good booster to know like what people want.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also, if you look at it, unconsciously, the fact that you are able to set up a corner that looks like an art exhibition by clothes is something that is not so given for granted, that is easy to make, because it's just pieces of clothes. So the fact that there are single items is like almost if they are canvases or sculptures or paintings, and the way you experience that is much more close to the creative and artistic industry rather than to the business and the market. So that it is not part of the plan, but it's a fact that you are able to show and tell your products and your brand in a way that is much more sophisticated, I think, than a mass-produced brand.
Yeah, here I would like to also say, because like also recently we have the new partner joining us. Her name is Cynthia, and so the thing is like like myself and herself, like the ideas which we kind of set together, it's always like very similar. Like it's like how the perfect fit goes.
Okay.
So, and because even we set the corner, we set it together. It's like this combination of ideas, so brought us to, as you say, like let's say a piece of art. So, and because also we kind of get this inspiration from Japanese culture, like wabi-sabi, perfection and imperfection. Also, this is our slogan, and by actually mixing up like old, new things, ugly and beautiful things, you create something new. So, and we try to design even like a way we we want to show our clothes. We want to show the idea which we apply into the concept.
Yeah.
Because also if we come back to this perfection and imperfection, and come back to China, that in China most of the girls, women, they always run into this perfection phase. Like me as a photographer, I face so many times then I look at the girl and I'm really in love with her face. Like I would like to capture her right now because I think she's beautiful, and I'm like, can I make a shot? And she's like, yeah, okay. Then I showed to her, and she's like, oh no, my face is too fat, or my face is too ugly, or something.
Yeah.
But I think you're beautiful. Like why? And then this is like, and then they put these pictures into the app where the app make their faces perfect, and then they post this picture, and they're kind of happy by seeing this there. But in reality, people don't look this way, right?
No,
so this
all.
like a perfect shape, like an angled cheeks and like a high up cheeks.
All the freckles are gone.
Yes,
and no wrinkles, and everything
like,
is smooth. And
but then, I don't know, why people why it makes them happy to see themselves there inside of their phones, and then they happy that other people see them like this way. But in reality, they don't look this way, and they're not actually accepting themselves how
it's
they
so
are.
sad, it's so
It's
so sick with how we are in society, and you imagine as a kid, right? You always go through your parents' photos or your grandparents' photos, and that's the real,
Spontaneous.
the reality of how life was back then. But now, if you go through people's Instagram or their moments, it's all this fake bullshit that totally modified and looks nothing like how the person really is. And then what you said, they don't accept themselves.
Yes.
Because I have the same problem where I film a video and I put somebody in the video, they're like, oh, can you do some PS on my face so I make them too fat or do this? I'm like, fuck, you look so good and so pretty. You don't need any of that bullshit.
But I would like to say I don't think this is these people's fault. I think this is society's fault.
Absolutely.
This is how even myself being a girl, I was even not raised, I was facing these stereotypes from around how the girl should behave, how the girl should look. And in China it's it's massively big. And because we actually did the project by inviting different girls from different industry, and they were sharing their personal stories from their childhood till nowadays. And first of all, most of them very successful, beautiful girls now. But then they are telling the story how they were at school, taught that the girl should look this way, or even the guy. We had a story the girl was sharing, she's kind of she doesn't have big breasts, and she's but she's okay. But her boyfriend dumped her because he was saying to her, oh, your breast is not big enough, you cannot feed our future children.
What?
Yes, and I was
oh my God.
Is it the real thing? And also it's at school they had this a joke that the guys would call the girls as a kind of airport, if they don't have chest.
Yeah, I heard this joke.
Airport?
Yeah, they call them if the girl has no breast hair, they call them an airport. Because it's flat.
Yes,
Yeah, I get it.
Plane to land, and I was just wow. And can you imagine these girls growing up by this feeling they are not perfect because some guys don't really like them. And then even another character from our story was telling she opposite, she actually got big breast, and then the think what was always attracting guys was only the breast. They didn't really care about her intelligence, about others, their personality. And so and she was and she kind of grew up by covering herself inside of the layers, trying to hide, because she was intelligent, a smart woman, but she didn't like to be kind of accepted just because her body features. So that's why we actually why we started to do this project. We wanted to encourage other women to be like themselves, and even like to younger generation to not follow this like a social kind of like a rules. Because myself, come back to this, like as a photographer, I love to see people's like features, because this is makes us unique, special, right? When we look like when I look at you guys, like I see something what came to you from your parents, from your relatives, right? So that makes you as you are,
Right.
and even like this makeup things, like we try to erase our makeup is not the bad thing. Makeup could like highlight.
Enhance.
Yes, not
yeah.
to cover it. You use makeup to highlight your this like special features of your face.
But not like totally like remove like and change like the shape of your face.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, it's a whole new world from what I grew up.
No, but I agree with you that it's not about the people, it's about the system that surrounds you. Because if you know that thing exists, then you know that you can comply with and you can use it. Until 5 years ago, there were no apps that change your face and beautify yourself, so you don't even worry about it. There's nothing you can do. Either you do it with makeup or, I don't know, maybe with Photoshop. So then when you know that there is this option, it creates the fact that you want it.
And also here, because I also talk with many girls, I mean like locals, and most of the local girls, they think like they what they say to me, oh, we Chinese all look like similar to each other. So that's why by being a bit different, they do some different manipulation with the face, right? But for me, again, I don't think like Asian people look like same, because I see beautiful faces, and usually even like I don't know, in the subway, because I like to look at people. Like sometimes I stare, and then I was like, oh, it's not a good thing to stare. But then I look at the people, like I see the girl, like she doesn't wear any makeup, like probably she just walk up and go somewhere, right? But then I see like how beautiful she is, and I look at other girl, and I see how they are different actually. But I don't know why they think they are like same.
Right.
So that's why. And when I say this to them, they don't really believe me, because they say like, oh, you're foreign, you don't understand. I was like, okay.
No, but one thing, I mean, of course, you know, you would very rarely see a natural blonde Chinese person. You know, there are some things where the range of possibilities in terms of let's say DNA is not the same as in other countries, but then when you get used to it, you can see the differences. I'm sure that also like 10-11 years ago, when I was coming to China a few months, go back to the Netherlands and back to China, sometimes I didn't remember, like, did I meet this guy or not, because you don't get used to features. They all have black hair, very pointy, and so. But after you've been here a lot of time, of course, you see these differences. It's like when on their side they think that we all look the same.
That's
when I mean, there's no way in my mind that we can be confused with one another. But in their eyes, if they are not used to see it, they have the same perception.
Could be.
So, for the fashion brand, like, are you like in like shops? Like, are you kind of like selling in like some boutique like clothing stores? You selling it online? Like, how are you guys like pushing the product and the brand and the story to your customers?
So we consider ourselves as a sustainable brand. Mm-hmm. What means sustainability? It means like we kind of try to save like natural resources, right? By open up the like actual physical store. It's again resources, right? It's a space, it's electricity, it's like a bunch of other stuff. So, and nowadays, because everything is like online, and so that's why it's actually, and most of the like actual stores like shutting down, they're going also online, and I kind of like this idea, and we are not really planning like even in near future to open up the store. we're still kind of into this idea of having the online platform where people can purchase. But as I said, it always also good to touch the clothes, right? To try the clothes. So that's why sometimes we are planning to have this like a pop-up stores, just to give this chance to people to see the clothes. So yeah, and basically how we promote the brand, we do different projects, for example, like currently we're running the project which a name is Afternoon Tea.
Okay.
So we invite a person to spend a day with us, wearing the clothes in different occasions, so like going to coffee shop. So we also shoot this day, and the person also shares some quotes which inspire her, and also share some personal ideas, visions, and so we mix up this with her photo. So we want, because the clothes we produce, we don't want the person wear the clothes to change himself, because as I said, the idea is we think the person is the most important thing. So the clothes itself is just a frame to help you to brighter. So, and that's why this project, the person shows himself and also wearing the clothes. It's like a mixture of his personality and the clothes.
Right.
Yeah, and before, as I said, we also had this project where we actually was writing big articles about whole life of the person. He would share his a childhood time, and then nowadays things. So yeah,
that's cool. I think that's a very I seem like a very unique way to market it, where you take a normal person and then you spend the time with them.
Yes.
It's very different, from.
Because even you said about this, we had a character, a girl. So she's an architect, and I think most of the people who involved into art, they're introverts. They're not really talkative, and not kind of oh, you're gonna make some shootings, I'm ready, prepare these poses, But then she was we spent a day, and then she got back to me by saying thank you so much, because that was my first shooting in my life.
Okay.
And that was an amazing day, and actually I felt so good, and we felt ourselves as a therapist.
Okay.
I was just wow, that sounds great. And kind of not actually inviting professional, all the models who represent the clothes, they're not professional models. Even on our Taobao page, the person, the model, she's not the professional model. She's actually a bartender. So, and we wanted to reality, again, by bringing up these perfect faces, it's kind of against of our idea. So we want real people, real stories behind.
No, this I think is beautiful. Plus, also, I think it allows you a secondary, let's say, niche channel of reaching out to the network of the people that you use, or that they buy your clothes, because I think that probably the most the most possible buyers of the brands, of course, are those who knows the story, right? And by knowing the story from the person that bought those clothes, or by those who wore those clothes, or by the people that are part of the project, and so on, that's the easiest way to know the whole story and be intrigued into buying it. Because as I said before, not everyone maybe spends 20-30 minutes to read a whole article and watching a lot of videos about something so special. I mean, you need to stumble upon it, right? And using normal people, I think you can be directly pinpointing the possible targets and buyers of your brands.
That's true. We also want to, because we consider our even like a clients as a family members, because we try to create a community where people actually, so they know us, we know them, and be honest, like most of the people who bought our products, I know them. Like it's not like as I said, also this is the price. The price is not something like a unreckless purchase. What people would do, like you just scrolling down the Taobao page, right? So that's why I think it's also good that we know like who is buying our stuff, and they know us.
Yeah, of course.
You ever make some like parties, like fashion nights or something, where people they have a little fashion show where people can see the clothes, invite like 20, 30 girls, have some drinks, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so we actually, this like when we launched our brand, we had a brand presentation party. So for us, it was like also the time when like the brand was born and then the baby started to walk, right? So it's like it's time to see the world. And we had this runway show where we also invited like not professional models. So all the models were our friends. So we had this runway show, and also the runway show wasn't just about walking around and showing the clothes. Again, the personality. So we it was like actually as a play, as a theater. We made the story about this each girl walking down and looking at the mirror. Some girl, so she didn't accept herself because she didn't like her like appearance in the mirror. So, but another girl would walk to her by saying like, "No, you look beautiful. Don't look there. Don't compare." Because we put like a mirror, a magazine. So she would look at the magazine, then at mirror, and she's like, "I'm not happy what I see there." So, and yeah, it was kind of like a play. And also all of this was followed by the monologues, which were said by other women, how they were suffering, and this like the concept of the beauty. So yeah, this was our kind of like a party. In the future also we're planning to do some parties. So, but the party is not that the way just show up the brand. We want to put the meanings into every single action we do.
But in fact, I imagine like when you were saying, for example, earlier about that is not the plan of having a shop and stuff. I agree that it is not in line with the philosophy, but probably, let's say, physically you have a space where you create, right? Maybe it is not a let's say fixed place because it can be different places, but I think that the most important probably space for you to communicate your brand and eventually where people also can see and eventually buy physically is if it would be inside a place where you create, where people can literally see, your samples, the pieces, whatever, cut, and I don't know, sewing machines or sketches, where there you can even see the clothes and even buy. So it's like when you go to the workshop of someone and you can buy the things that they do. That probably would be, if I imagine one space, the best place where to be able to.
It's like a studio, workspace, workshop,
because,
showroom.
Then if people, for example, they heard about this from a friend, they want to come and see and maybe buy things, they're not just coming to see the final product, but they are able to experience part of your creative process and the story and the effort that you put behind the brands. The brand, sorry.
Yeah, it's like it's actually a very good idea or something. It's kind of like a laboratory, right? So and we know also most of the it's quite popular open kitchen in the restaurants, right?
Right.
So where you come and you see how you see the kitchen actually. Yeah. It's not like a hidden somewhere and you don't know how your food was made.
Exactly.
Right? So you see how they cook your food and then you enjoy. So this also could be very good idea to create a space where it could be also our workshop and also as a showroom, like people can come and see how the things made up, and also it's like nothing behind the wall. Everything is open.
Yeah,
it's like I think it's a new way of representing things, like not just a store, but by putting humans there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I could imagine it could be a place where you guys are there anyway every day because you are working on something, but someone can walk in, and if they want, they can go out of there with one of your pieces of clothes, because the clothes physically, when people see them on Taobao and until you sell to the people, where are these clothes?
At my home, in my bedroom.
So like they're probably in a place where nobody but you guys can experience the existence of these pieces of clothes because it's inside a bag, inside a box. But in this way, it's like I don't remember who was saying this. Like, but they use this paradox in mathematics, in quantum physics. They say if a tree falls in the forest and nobody has seen or heard this, did the tree really fall? Like, if you cannot prove it, is it like really there?
Right.
Like, for example, you say that this piece of clothes, there is only 5 of them, and maybe someone can, there's always haters online one day, and say,
That's true.
I know at least 3 people that have it, so it means there's only 2 left. But I mean, if physically they have a number and they are there, you are literally showing that thing that is otherwise not possible to demonstrate.
That's true. It's like I can like say whatever I want, but where is this kind of like if it's true or not? Yeah.
Then imagine, if every day I'm going to my studio and you have the studio next to me, and I see, that every day you guys are there making things, cutting, doing sketches. I maybe one day I will stop to be curious and maybe to buy. I guess you do only woman clothing, so I would buy something for my girl or bring her there, and that is a way to have a window, let's say, to the audience for sharing. Sorry, your story, your process.
Yes. I just was like because like handcraft. I love to see like how people making things, and even like in my building downstairs, there was a kind of like a store, but they make like bags from using leather, and it's actually looks like the fishbowl, all the space.
Okay. Yeah.
And I sometimes I just go down. It's like a meditation for me. I go down and I just like sit and watch how he makes these bags.
Right.
Yeah, how he cuts like gently. How he sews the pieces, and then also I see how these bags hanging there.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's really nice and cool to see how the things actually made.
Yeah. Now you tell me, it comes to my mind that in front of Bionic there is this leather shop that doesn't even have a window to display the products, but because we are always there at Bionic, and I always see the guy that is using weird tools or sewing things to do this leather thing. And one day he was doing something very weird with a mold. I wanted to see what he was doing, and I entered there to see, started talking with the guy, and I ended up knowing that all the things I see, he made it by hands, and I bought some of those pieces as gifts and stuff. So, it's like that trigger thing that I didn't need those things, but because I was able to appreciate the fact that they are handcraft and stuff, that I bought them. Maybe for me, I gave it as a present to my staff and so on. But again, because I gave value to that thing, and it was not because of his products. He doesn't even have a shop. Sorry, it doesn't even have a window shop, so I don't see what he does. I just see from the door that he's there doing things. So that is the interesting part. For those of us that gives value and are attracted from this, I think that being able to see the process is what.
Well, it's like that the jewelry guy in here in Nantou. He has like kind of like a U-shaped shop. So there's like a wall in the middle. Maybe I think there's a stairwell or something that goes up. So one side of it is like his showroom, and then one side of it is just like his workspace. So you're walking by and you can see him
doing crazy things,
doing all kinds of stuff with his jewelry, and it's really fascinating to see the artist or see the creator. Like what you're saying, you just look there and it's like a meditation.
Yeah.
To see something come from nothing to.
Also, because I think that life. The two normal situations is, let's say, if you have a space to show your products, it's like a shop usually is on the ground floor, and if you see at the office, usually you don't want to be on the ground floor, busy street, but higher up, because you want to have your intimacy. But in a situation like yours, you want to combine these two things, and probably by the time that the business is growing, I can imagine you will have much more sample of materials, much more mannequins, much more, if the thing grows organically, then you will physically also need a space where all the things are kept together, and that's probably the best way that I could imagine that is to make it happen, like to literally show the whole thing. Not being on the 6th floor where someone needs to know where you are, but showing the everyday life behind the clothes. That can be cool.
Yeah, sounds good. Let me send this to the universe.
Send it to the moon.
Yes, send it to the moon. And one day, why not? Why not to dream big, right? So,
yeah.
I would like to have this kind of place. So the universe.
Oh, it's definitely gonna happen, and it's cool to see like people starting their business, following their dream at the beginning stages, and then seeing where it goes in the future. So I'm definitely excited about your brand, and it's not even a year old yet.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna do very well, and I love the the story, the vision, the purpose, the perfection and imperfection kind of philosophy, the long-lasting, the longevity, of something that you're doing. So I think it's and then what I find right now is that like more and more young people are also gravitating to this. There was a time in history where your grandfather and my grandfather, where so many things were handmade and handcrafted, and then things went to this kind of like mass production, and everybody lost that. But now I can see like
coming back.
So many young people, young people like finding these kind of like old traditions and falling in love with it again, and bringing back traditions that for a generation or maybe even 2 generations were lost or stopped, but people are finding purpose in
it was the normal, and
it wasn't normal, but then it became the unnormal when then you got fast food and Walmart and factories. You lost all of that. You lost that handcrafters, or your father used to make your own clothes, or your grandfather. So.
Yeah, and also about this photography and cameras, as you now can see, most of the people start to take picture with the film cameras, right?
Exactly, it's coming back.
And I was actually at the time I started also shooting by film camera, and I was dreaming about the digital camera, right? And now people going back, but I was I remember when I got my first digital camera, I was for me it was something wow, but now I was just maybe
go back.
I mean, there was something special about that, right? Because I also used to use a film camera, and you only have 24 shots, 30 shots on that one film.
Oh yeah,
on that one roll.
It's a moment,
and you had to make sure you really took your time to capture it, and that moment was special. Now
And you don't know until it comes
like,
out if you did everything good.
Like all my pictures that I've taken with my film camera, I can almost remember like the moment and the time I took it, and waiting for the to come back from being developed. You know, and like those memories. I have thousands of pictures on my phone.
Don't even look at.
I don't even remember anything about. I mean, I can see I remember that time, but I don't have that same connection as I did when I was with that very hands-on kind of filmmaking. And when you used to go to like the dark room.
Yeah, this is another thing.
You used to make your own prints and, put it in the water and hang it up and wait for it to come out. Or like, you used to plan your, like when you're doing black and white pictures, right? You used to plan your exposure. Or maybe you wanted one part to be kind of lighter and you cover it up, or, you do, it's more, it was like, I don't know, it's a special time. Now I wish, like, in my dream house, I want to have a real, dark room, and do filmmaking, photography again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think like everyone needs this dark room. Yes, because some magic happens there.
Yeah, and it's a meditation too, like it's like a painter, like when you draw something on paper or you sketch something on paper, it's more interesting.
No, but I think especially
computer,
as a creator, as an artist, as a creative person, it's all about the process. That's the part you enjoy the most. I mean, if you don't love your process, there's no way that you can make something cool. Like, if you take that away, there's very few chances of being happy about what you're doing. Because if it's only about the final product, then I don't think it's anymore as inspiring, as fascinating to keep you doing that in the same way. So if you lose the process, it's like if one day someone would tell you, okay, I want to buy your brand, and then they want to make everything by factory, still same very good products, you're still making the same drawing, but all that is gone. Will you like it in the same way?
Yes, I think it's like this one, like a slow living. It could be applied everywhere, because like as I also said earlier, that I think we need to stop a little bit, like stop running. We need to enjoy the process. And me too, actually, this like even the business, like I don't know like how far we will go, but I really enjoy the process. And from the beginning, I didn't set this, I'm gonna succeed, I'm gonna win the world, or for me it was like to try. And it's always, even like if you go to casino, like why some people leave the casino broken, because they go there by the idea I'm gonna win. But if you want to actually enjoy, then you need to have some amount of money which you already lost here, and then you go to casino by already thinking you don't have this money.
Yeah, you're there just to be in the
You
moment.
can just play.
Yeah, just like be there, have fun, enjoy, and if you win, good for you.
Right.
If you lost, you lost them earlier. So
Yeah, at the end, the process is the reason why you do something as an artist, as a creative person, because I believe that even the most successful ones in art and in creativity, I don't think they started by thinking about the money and the business, because I'm sure that most of us would rather make less money but be sure that you're working for something that you love, rather than making more money for working for someone else, hating your life on a daily basis, because that is something that you cannot buy. Being able to enjoy your day about things that you create and you do with your own pace and with your own love, that's the beauty of it. And I think that's what most of the time we end up talking about with all the creative people.
It's a very rare thing too. Like most people live their whole lives just doing some bullshit job, with no purpose and meaning behind it. They're just there to get that salary, get that money in their pocket. But it's not like they're not living a meaningful life by how they spend most of their time.
Yeah, some people are cool with that and they don't care. But if you have that,
I don't know, man. I don't think most people are cool with that. I just think that most people either afraid to take that step, or don't know how to take that step, or don't even know what to do, or kind of like in their own brain, like, this is what I'm supposed to do and work this job, and that's it. But they don't have the idea to fucking, I want to be a baker, so fuck it, let me get some flour, some fucking sugar, water, open a little shop, and I'm gonna fucking bake. It's a difficult thing for most people to break out, like physically, as in like doing it, and also mentally, to like get to that point where you can be like, let's go. So
I also would like because I kind of like mentioned this a couple of times, that I consider myself as a multi-hyphenate person, and what it means like I actually have lots of things I would like to do, and some of them really controversial, and then I also remember in some age I was thinking like by 35 I gonna earn my first million. So if you would ask me, did I? I say like, no. But what I want to say, I just realized that I didn't earn the million, but the knowledge, I can consider it as my actually kind of like invisible money, let's say, because I think every single person should have this courage to do whatever he wants, not by because we live one life, right? And to dedicate your life just doing one thing, it's kind of unfair just to yourself, because there are so many like opportunities and options. As I also said, it's important to try, right? So, and now I know that it doesn't matter where I will be. Will I be here in China, or the life would bring me to some other part of the world, right? So I know that even I wouldn't have a single penny in my pocket, but the knowledge which I have, I can earn. Like I can, like, I don't know, I'm ready to work as a waitress. I'm ready to do some other stuff. Like I'm not afraid to do these things because of like this experience. We are
enriched yourself. Yes.
Yes. So that's why money itself, it's not an important thing. Money just brings, helps you to bring your dreams to the reality, right? But the most important thing, I think, that's knowledge, which we have. So that has value. And so that's why, as you also said, some people, they work because they're afraid, because everyone is scared about tomorrow. What am I gonna do tomorrow if I don't have money? Because this job gives me money, stability. Every month I get the salary. So, and this stability is like a drug.
It's true.
Yes, it's keeping you there. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to be more bold. Sometimes maybe you will hurt yourself, but without risk, the life is like
without trying. There's no way to accomplish anything. Yes. It's true. Well, thank a lot for all the beautiful thoughts and insights. For those of you who are listening, you will find down here in descriptions and stuff all the links and information to check their works, and pass by Nantou until next month to touch and see for yourself. And we made the day. Our second guest is still here making some noise, but Zarina, thanks for coming. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me, and that was a really great conversation. It was great.
I think we need to do a part 2, like in the future, because I think I have like so much more. I think I could go for hours. I want to know about you and the clothes.
They have also the other partners and stuff that couldn't come. So
yeah, and plus next time
for the anniversary in 2 months.
Oh yeah, in February.
I'm ready.
So be ready for part 2.
Yeah.
Yet to come.
Okay.
Cool.
Again, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Designer out.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.